Africa is not our home. The Indians for you. Welcome to the Aboriginal channel. I appreciate all the subscribers and views. Thank you. This episode will be a look at Alabama from the perspective of the ugliest Aboriginal truth. So here in the county information, I'm going to go down and look at about 15 or so counties and see when they were created. Then I'm going to chase one of the counties down to see who was there. Dane County was reestablished in 1868. Baker County was created in 1868. The present boundaries of Bibb County was established in 1868. Bullock County was created in 1866. Chilton County was created in 1868. Clay County was created in 1866. Claiborne County was created in 1866. Colbert County was created in 1867. Covington County was reestablished in 1868 after the courthouse was destroyed in 1847. Crenshaw County was created in 1866. The courthouse burned in 1898. Elmore County was created in 1866. Escambia was created in 1868. Etowah was created in 1868. Geneva was created in 1868. Haley was created in 1867. The county seat of Jackson County was changed to Scottsboro in 1868 after Union troops burned the courthouse and most of the county records in 1864. Jones County was created in 1868 and Lamar County was created in 1867. We're going to go back and look at Haley County, which was created out of the eastern half of Greene County and parts of Tuscaloosa, Marengo, and Perry counties by the Act of General Assembly in 1867. So Haleywood County was created in 1867. Before I go and chase Haley County to see what Indians that part of the land came from, we're going to look at the information. Right here, this second column is 1870. Haley County was created in 1867. So 3 years later, when they went around doing the census count in Haley County, 3 years after it was created, right here, it says 21,792 people right there in that little bitty county in 1870. So we're going to go chase Haley County. Let's start at Greene County, which was created from Marengo County and Tuscaloosa County. So we'll skip down to Tuscaloosa County. Tuscaloosa County was ceded to the state by the Cherokee and Choctaw Indians. When you look at the county's map, Tuscaloosa is this big county right here, sitting right above Haley County. Haley County came from Greene, Tuscaloosa, Perry, and Marengo, all the surrounding counties. So Tuscaloosa came from the Cherokees and Choctaws. Marengo County came from the Choctaw Indians, as you can see right here in 1818. So Marengo was strictly Choctaw. Tuscaloosa was Choctaw and Cherokee. Greene was Choctaw and Cherokee. Now let's look at Perry. And Perry County came from the Creek Cession in 1814. So we have Perry from the Creeks, Marengo from Choctaw, Greene and Tuscaloosa from Cherokee and Choctaw. And now we're going to see how those three tribes ended up right here in Haley County before the Civil War. Before I read what it says about Haley County in the Encyclopedia of Alabama website, we must remember that the reason why Indians allowed themselves to be surrounded was because of their ancient burial sites and mounds. So here in Haley County, which wasn't created until 1867, says located in the west central part of the state in Alabama's Black Belt, the area that now constitutes Haley County. Then it says Haley County's Moundville Archaeological Park includes a number of Mississippian era mounds built by Native Americans more than 1,000 years ago. The county was named in honor of Lieutenant Colonel Stephen F. Haley, a Greene County lawyer and soldier who died in Richmond, Virginia during the Civil War. So a Southerner died in the Civil War and they named the place after him, indicating that there was nothing going on between Northern and Southern Europeans at the time, besides trying to take the rest of the land. It says the largest city and county seat of Haley County is Greensboro. Now we must go look at the etymology of borough. So a borough is an administrative division in various English-speaking countries. In principle, the term borough designates a self-governing walled town. Borough, walled town. So presumably Greensboro inside of this county was a walled town that a lot of Cherokee, Choctaw, and Creek Indians were placed behind, protecting Indian burial mounds until at least 1867 when Haley County became a county. Now that we know this part of what happened, let's go over and look at what may have caused this whole situation. Here it says Germany became a country in 1871. Germany became a nation state when most of the German states unified in the Persian-dominated German Empire. It says that Germany became a country in 1871 as a result of Persia and its allies' victory over France in the Franco-Persian Revolution War. So they had a war over there where France lost and they were fleeing. As you look at the numbers, you see that the white population in a lot of areas went up in between 1860 and 1880. Things like this was a factor. Again, we look over here. It says Rome itself remained for a decade under the papacy and became part of the Kingdom of Italy until in 1870, the final date of the Italian unification. So Italy became a country in 1870 as well. There's some interesting information in the 1870s in Italy. It says after unification, Italy's politics favored radical socialism due to regional fragmented right. As conservative Prime Minister Marco Minghetti only held on to power by enacting revolutionary and socialist-leaning policies to appease the opposition. In 1876, Minghetti was ousted and replaced by Agostino De Pretis, a moderate liberal. De Pretis began his term as prime minister by initiating an experimental political idea called transformism. The theory of transformism was that a cabinet should select a variety of moderates and capable politicians from a non-partisan perspective. In practice, transformism was authoritarian and corrupt, so the Italians were escaping corrupt government to the Americas. Either that or they were bringing that exact corrupt government to these shores, where transformism sounds like the same thing that occurred here in the Americas last time that I checked. But I'm gonna move on and not get too hung up anywhere else besides these shores, which takes me back to some etymology on the word borough, which is a derivative of burg, B-U-R-G. Now down here it says the etymology of burgs, etymology, Old English, fortified elevation, means palisaded walls with mounds behind it. Sometimes you just think about it. Where in the States are there a lot of so-called black people? One of the places is Harlem. So when you go look at the etymology of Harlem, it says the New York community was founded in 1658 and originally named New Harlem for Harlem in the Netherlands, which probably is from Dutch. Har means height and lum means silt, in reference to its position on a slight elevation on the banks of the Sparn River. So we're going to get back over here to Haley County, where Cherokees, Choctaws, and Creek Indians were guarding a 1,000-year-old Indian burial mound during the Civil War. So here in Greene County, they had a city or town called Ottawa, Alabama. It says Etowah was laid out on December 1838 at the time that Greene County voters chose to relocate the county seat from Erie, which was located on the Black Warrior River, incorporated by an act of the state legislature in January of 1841. And then in that same county, in that same little town, 5 years later, it opened a Mesopotamian female seminary. They separated all the Indian girls and started teaching them the Bible and how to obey authority. When you look at the demographics in Utah, you see that the racial makeup of the city in 2010 was 80% black. Here in Greene County in 2010 on the U.S. Census, it says that there were 9,045 people living in the county. 81% were black. So we're going to go back here and look at the Civil War's battle map in Alabama. So on that map, there's 6 counties showing battles. Down here in Baldwin, this big county on the water, Dallas, Chilton, and these 3 up here where I'll show the names of the counties here in a minute. But what I wanted to point out is that this is Greene County we just got through talking about, where Utah sits in, and it has 2 rivers going on each side of the county. And that's probably why the so-called black population is so dominant there. But we're going to look at these 6 counties that these Civil War battles are in and just do a comparison. Here I found a map of Alabama that shows some Indian mound sites. So right here in Baldwin, you have 4 sites: Indian Shell Mound Park, Gulf State Park Sand and Shell Mounds, the Fuller site, the Bottle Creek site. And those are pretty much all in Baldwin, which was full of Civil War battles. Right here in Dallas County, Alabama, this big green one right here, we see the mound at Old Cahaba Archaeological Park right here in Dallas County by Selma. Next, we're going to look at Chilton County, which is right above Dallas County right here, Chilton. And even though it wasn't marked with mounds on this map, we know there were mounds there. There is also something else interesting about Chilton County, which didn't become a county until 1868 after the Civil War. And that is the fact that Alabama had a gold rush. Here it says, after gold was discovered in Georgia, prospectors began working in Alabama and had a gold rush following the discovery of gold in 1830 in Chilton County along tributaries of Blue and Chestnut Creeks. So now we'll go over and see who was in control of those creeks that they were getting that gold out of in Chilton County. So here on the county information, it says that Chilton County was created by the act of state legislature in December of 1868 from part of Bibb, Ottawa, Perry, and Shelby counties. So we need to find out where Bibb, Ottawa, Perry, and Shelby counties came from. Let's start with Bibb. It says Bibb was originally part of Monroe County. It says Monroe County was ceded to the state by the Creek Indians. Moving over to Ottawa. Ottawa was formed from part of Montgomery County. We know Montgomery County came from Monroe County, which was ceded to the state from the Creek Indians. Next is Perry County. Perry County was created from an act of Alabama Territorial General Assembly, so from the Creek Indians. Lastly is Shelby County. Shelby County was created from Montgomery County, which was created from Monroe County, which was ceded to the state from the Creek Indians. So Chilton County, all of Chilton County comes from the creeks, which they found gold in 1830 along the creek beds. Here we have the mound at Fort Toulouse, Fort Jackson Park, right here in Montgomery County. Montgomery County is connected to Bullock County. It says Bullock County was created in 1866 from Barber, Macon, Montgomery, and Pike. On the county's map, we can see that those are the surrounding counties. Montgomery, Macon, Barber, and Pike surrounds Bullock. So Bullock, part of Bullock belonged to Montgomery during the Civil War. Montgomery has major mound siting. Bullock County has a 70% black population. Next, we're going to look at Claiborne County, made from Calhoun, Talladega, and Randolph. Fourth county down from the top, Claiborne. When we look at the Indian Mound Sites map, 1, 2, 3, 4, right here where that 1866 Claiborne County was made at, we see the Chocoloco Creek Archaeological Complex. Next, we're going to look at Etowah County, which was created as Bain County by an act of General Assembly in 1866, but abolished in 1867, recreated as Etowah County in 1868. Parent counties are Blount, Calhoun, Cherokee, and DeKalb. It's located right here up against Cherokee County, but it was made from DeKalb, Blount, Calhoun, and Cherokee counties. When we look on the Indian Mounds site right here in Cherokee County that Etowah was made out of, we see the Coker Ford site. Next, we'll move back over to Haley County. Right here on the Indians Mound sites, we see Moundville Archaeological Park right there in Haley County, which was created in 1867. Next up, Lamar County was created out of parts of Marion and Fayette in 1867. So Lamar, right here on the edge, was made out of Marion and Fayette in 1867. And right here on the Indian Mounds site in Alabama, in Marion County, we find the Hamilton Mounds site. Next, we're going to look over at Lawrence County, which is up against Morgan County, which Morgan County had Civil War battles in. The county information says that Lawrence County was created and ceded to the state by the Cherokee, Chickasaw, and Choctaw Indians. Lawrence County is the location of the Oakville Indian Mound. Lauderdale County, up here in the farthest northwest corner of Alabama, which has the Florence Indian Mounds in it. The Florence Mound site in Lauderdale County right here on this Civil War's battles map site is completely surrounded by Civil War battles. Here on the website faculty.humanities.uci.edu, colonial history / Etowah is a reproduction drawing of what a Etowah Indian Mound village would have looked like. So right here is a palisaded wall around the village. Beyond that wall is an embankment full of water for defenses. Then inside the walls is a big mound / pyramid complex. We'll move over to Virginia, where Virginia, the state, had the most Civil War battle sites in it out of the whole war, right here in Virginia. A very interesting fact about the state of Virginia is that when you look in 1790, when they started taking the census, the black population was over 300,000 people right here in 1790, which they're saying on here that they were mostly slaves, but we know different. Yet when you look in the state of Texas in 1850, when they started taking account, it was only 58,000 people there in the big great state of Texas, where a lot of Indians had went to during the 1820s, 30s, and 40s. Or in Tennessee in 1790, where it says only 3,778 black people were there. South Carolina had 108,000 black people in 1790. In Oklahoma, when they started to take the count in 1890, they're trying to say there was only 21,000 blacks there, when we know a lot of Indians went that way. This says Ohio in 1800 only had 198 black people. North Carolina had 105,000 black people in 1790. It says New York only had 25,000 in 1790. Missouri in 1810 only had 3,480 black people. Mississippi, it says here, in 1800 had 3,154 black people. In 1800, says Michigan only had 139 black people. In 1810, it says Louisiana had 42,000 black people. It says in 1800, the state of Illinois only had 183 black people. Georgia in 1790 had 29,600 black people. It says Florida in 1830 had 16,000 black people. It says California in 1850 only had 962 black people. It says Arkansas in 1810 had 138 black people. And Alabama, they said, was in 1800 there were 517 black people in the whole state. In West Virginia in 1790, it said that the state had 5,280 black people. West Virginia, which is right next to Virginia. Yet right here in Virginia, it says 300,000 black people in 1790, which far outweighs every other state by far. Petersburg, the independent city in Virginia, has one of the highest so-called African American populations in Virginia at 79%. Right here in Dinwiddie County. In the whole country, there's about 41 independent cities. 40 of them is in the state of Virginia. And the significance behind a independent city is, I believe, they don't have to do census, so we can't find any of the records from any of these places based upon that status of being an independent city. Most of us do have some of our greats that have parents, it says, were born in Virginia, yet we can't find any of those records. On the Civil War's battles map, we can see that Dinwiddie, which Petersburg sits in, had a battle in, or numerous battles because of the dark coloration. You have the pink, the red, the dark red, and then the very dark, and Dinwiddie is very dark. So over the course of the Civil War, there were numerous times that the place was attacked, basically. But we're going to go look back at what the definition of a burg is. A burg is an ancient or medieval fortress or walled town. So that's where the burg in Petersburg comes from. Go do a little look up on Petersburg. It says that 1864, Petersburg became a target during the Overland Campaign of Union General S. Grant. Its numerous railroads made the city a lifeline for Richmond. So Petersburg during the Civil War was a lifeline for Richmond, the Confederate capital, okay? Richmond. After this defeat at the Battle of Cold Harbor, Grant remained east of Richmond and moved south of Petersburg. Grant intended to cut the rail lines into Petersburg, stopping Richmond's supplies. On June 9, troops led by William F. Baldley Smith and the 18th Corps attacked the Dimmock Line, a series of defensive breastworks constructed to protect Petersburg. It later states that in the Reconstruction era, in the years after the Civil War, many freedmen migrated to Petersburg, founding numerous churches, businesses, and institutions. Yet when we look at the population by race in the state of Virginia, the black population in between 1860 and 1870 dropped about 15,000 people. When you go look at the list of Indian massacres, they started in 1610 in Virginia, and they still were going on in the 1760s before the Revolutionary War. Moving forward, this area right here at the bottom southeastern part of the state is Southampton County, where the so-called Nat Rebellion took place in 1831. Here we see it surrounded by Civil War battles in the 1860s. Here it is right here, surrounded by Isle of Wight and Sussex and Dinwiddie, which all had Civil War battles in them. Now let's go over and read a little about the mound sites and look at some locations of the mound sites in Virginia. Right here on virginiaplaces.org, it says that the Leesville Mound is on the Roanoke River near modern Alta Vista. Now Alta Vista is in Campbell County right here. which is up against Halifax County. Halifax County had major Civil War battles in it, so there was obviously mounds in that area, burial mounds. It says the Virginia mounds were built originally between 900 Common Era and 1440. Radiocarbon dates show that 13 burial mounds in Virginia were started between 900 and 1440. Burials may have been added to some mounds in the mid-1600s, and their presence was remembered even after burials stopped. Thomas Jefferson reported that as a child he saw a group of Native Americans go 6 miles out of their way to visit a mound near Charlottesville on the Riviera River. Jefferson recognized that the most obvious reminder of the original inhabitants of Virginia were those mounds. When you go into the Virginia county information, you don't get any information like you do some of the others. Virginia information has been totally wiped. Another peculiarity within the county information in Alabama is here in Covington County, where it says Montezuma was the county seat of Covington County from 1823 to 1847. But it says Covington County was created in 1821. Again, it says it was called Jones County from August 1868 until October 1868. Then it says Covington County was created in December 1822 from Henry County. So they don't know if it was created in 1821 or 1822. This is a result of the Creek and Seminole Wars. The Creek Wars ended, and then the First Seminole War ended. And then they felt like coming down into Alabama and different places, making these counties. But this was called Montezuma in 1823, which means that the people there originally called it Montezuma. European settlers didn't come there in the 1820s and call the place Montezuma. And even though Covington County was created in 1821 or 22, it was reestablished in 1868. And here I found on a website, it says that the county seat was named Montezuma by 1824 and was located on the banks of the Conecuh River near this site. Here we find Covington County on the county's map of Alabama, surrounded by areas of the state that just became counties after the Civil War. Through the history books, which has all been a lie, so therefore, if it's a lie, then what's the truth? If it's a lie, then what's